Hey guys, so today we're going to be unboxing the Gamdias Chione E1A 120R. Now this is a 120 millimeter liquid cooler with RGB. We're going to do an unboxing, go through the components that it comes in. In a follow-up video, we're also going to do a build as well as a performance assessment. But today, let's get started with the unboxing and let's take a look. Hey guys, Tiago with Classical Technology here. Thank you for joining me for another video. If you like my content, subscribe, smash that like button, leave a comment below. Alright guys, so Gamdias recently sent me this Chione E1A 120R. I know that's a mouthful, but let's do an unboxing of it. Let's see what it comes with and let's see what we think of it. So the first thing that I want to say, the packaging is really first rate. I love it when I get some computer gaming hardware and the packaging looks really good. It has all the buzzwords on the packaging. If you have like an Asus motherboard, you know it's going to work with your RGB ecosystem. Same with MSI or Gigabyte. You know, when you're spending money on a computer component, you definitely want nice packaging. You don't want it to come in like a nondescript brown box or something like that. So this looks really nice. Packaging is really nice and colorful. And it has all those cool buzzwords on the box like Aura Sync and Gigabyte Fusion RGB. So that way, whatever system you're buying it for, whatever motherboard, you know that it's going to work pretty well. So overall, first impressions of the box are very good. And as we unbox it and we start to remove everything, we see what we're going to get here. Now, of course, the number one thing and most important component is going to be the AIO itself. Now, this is a 120 millimeter AIO. Generally, this is going to go into something that's like a smaller case that you may not be able to fit a 240 or 360 millimeter radiator. Not everybody has the space for that. Generally, an AIO like this is going to provide some pretty good cooling performance. In the next follow-up video that we do on this, I'm going to be doing some testing against the Noctua air cooler. That way you can see sort of the difference. This is going to come in a little bit cheaper. I believe on Amazon this is around $68.99 now. So a pretty fair price considering the amount of little extras that you get, and we're going to cover that as we continue to unbox this. So the AIO itself has a pretty nice pump. Of course, you have RGB on there. The radiator itself is a pretty normal radiator. If you guys have used any of like the Corsair sort of, AIOs, the 120 millimeters, you have a very nice, what they call a sleeved Teflon tube. Teflon is very strong, so this is just going to mean it can move around and you can bend it in different ways and it's not going to start to crack or give you any issues with the actual flow performance. And then aside from that, we have the fan itself. It's a very nice design. They call it like a dual ring design. RGB, of course, in order to go with the AIO pump, which is also RGB. So I really do like the design of these fans. You have RGB sort of on both sides, which is pretty awesome. Anytime, let's say if you're putting these somewhere where they're visible from the front and from the back, that's going to come in handy because I really like RGB fans because not only do they give you a little bit of extra aesthetic to your case, they also just let you light up certain areas without having to put light strips everywhere. So they do serve a dual purpose and they could really fill out the aesthetic of your build. And remember, RGB doesn't mean you have to run it in rainbow mode. You could always put it in sort of, blue or green or just white or like any type of singular light to match your build aesthetic. So this RGB is going to be addressable. It's going to sync with your motherboard. So for example, if you have the addressable motherboard header on like an Asus motherboard, you'll be able to use the motherboard software to control the RGB. So that's definitely very convenient. You don't have to have like a million things or proprietary software or anything like that. So I really like that they did this with this. And it's just going to, if you have other RGB components on your motherboard, you'll be able to sync everything up and it'll flow right into your system. So that's pretty good. Some of the other cool things that you get on the box, of course, you're going to get all your cabling, and you also get a little controller. This is where you can plug in. You're going to have to plug in the power. It's going to be a SATA power, but then you can connect your fans to this and your pump and everything. In the box, you also get a little control unit. You just plug it into SATA power, and this is going to be pretty much the brain of your system. It will allow you to plug in all of your components from your AIO, and you can plug it directly to your motherboard, and that way you can control your RGB and your fan curve and things like that. And a very cool addition, which I usually don't see with AIOs, is a little remote controller that you can use to change the color and do different things. Generally, this is all done in software with a lot of AIOs that have RGB, and the controller is definitely really cool if you just want to change it without having to go into software. This reminds me of, if you guys have ever used like Cable Mod's RGB strips that have an outside controller. These were even more popular a while back before motherboard software became really popular to control and before things were really well integrated. So it's definitely nice you get the option of doing that with this particular setup as well. You can still work everything through the motherboard, but it's really cool to have a little controller if you want to show your friends or family that you can change the color. It's definitely cool, and it just adds to the overall package. So I think that's really nice that they added that. So overall, first impressions are very good. Build quality, everything feels very, very stellar. Of course, we're going to have to put this through its paces and see how the cooling performance is like, and that we're going to do in our follow-up video. But in terms of the packaging, the unboxing experience, and the quality of materials, as well as what's included in the actual box, I'm definitely pretty happy with it so far. I love it when little things are extra, like a controller that's included. It just makes everything so much more pleasant and more of like a high-end experience. And judging by how the fan looks and the pump, I'm really excited to see how this looks in the system, and I'm going to be bringing you guys the video very soon, as well as with some performance data to see how this performs against something like a Noctua air cooler or something like that. That way we get a baseline to see how good this is. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.